Welcome into the Union Football Coaches Show. You know, high school football coaches like Union head coach Kurt Frederick have a saying. We want to practice on Thanksgiving. And, Coach, you win this one, semifinals week, you get a chance to do that.
Yeah, that's right. We absolutely do. And we're real excited about being in the playoffs. Any win's a good win. Everyone talks about being 1-0, and for us to come out and have a great first-round opponent in Putnam City and win and survive and move on, I guess you should say. It's always great news.
Everybody's going to want to talk about Jenks, but before we do that, let's talk about Putnam City. I was in Cincinnati with the University of Tulsa. I tuned in at 7-6. Didn't necessarily surprise me. We'll get to the highlights in a moment. When we take a look at some of the numbers, it won't reflect that early on you actually had a tie game. This looks like, when you look at just these simple numbers, that Union just pulled away and won easily, which they did, but take a look at the rushing yards for Putnam City. 28 rushing yards. That is a defensive effort.
Well, our defense played extremely well. I think we had 6 or 7 3-and-outs during the game. The defensive front played outstanding. I was real proud of our guys and the way that they were able to handle the rush, and then also the pressure that they were able to put on the quarterback. And you know, coverage-wise, I can't think of another game this year where our coaches had a hard time figuring out of the 4 guys that play in the back end which one played the best, because they all played so well. And very proud of, obviously, Trey had an interception and a couple of big hits, but Aaron Ugball did a great job, and of course Jordan Starks and Io, Patrick Fields, all those guys in the back end played really well too.
Obviously a great total yardage number there for Union, not quite as much for Putnam City, but what this also points to, at least in my mind, is something you and I have talked about here in the first 10 or 11 weeks we've done this. The splitting of 6A means that in the old days, that first round game, it honestly was nearly a gimme many times. That's not the case anymore.
It's exactly what you know you alluded to was, you know, playing that first round and being tied early on, and I think it was 13-7 or 13-6 at the first quarter. You know, you're talking about the top 8 teams, and so it's not going to be anything. You know, if we were in basketball, we'd be talking about the state tournament. These are the 8 teams that are in the state tournament. So you're always having a good opponent. You always have to prepare well, and our kids are real proud of how they played. You know, it's the last game at Tuttle for our seniors, and for those guys to come out wearing the black jerseys, all those things. It was a lot of fun.
Right now, in the first round of a playoff week, one of the most important things, obviously you want to win. You also want to be crisp because you want to get on to that next one that way. Are you satisfied with kind of the execution through it?
I was. I think that, you know, like I said, you want to start better. You'll see in the highlights that we kind of had a fumble gave up a fumble for a touchdown early, but I think it kind of woke our kids up, or I think they prepared well, but they were like, hey, we're gonna be in a battle here, and so we come back and score real quickly out of that. But all in all, I was pretty proud of our kids, offense, defense, special teams, how they performed.
And obviously you mentioned one of the last nights the last night for those seniors at Union Tuttle. Now they have an opportunity to still play in the area, and I have to think that when you're red out night, when you go play Jenks over in Owasso, you're going to have a whole lot of moms and dads there.
Oh, it's a great atmosphere. Again, it's the best time of year for a football team, for coaches to be, you know, playing in a semifinal game, to be in the Oklahoma playoffs. There's just nothing better.
We're going to take a look at the highlights when we come back, and we'll get a little bit into more in that Jenks Union game. We have to do that, don't we, even though it's not a finals game. But first up, it's quarterfinal game. It's Union and Putnam City. That's next on the Union Football Coaches Show.
No matter how you play, or work, or live, life sometimes throws you a curve. At Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center, we help you get back to playing, working, and living your life. EOC, Tulsa's finest and most experienced provider of sports medicine care for over 30 years. Visit us at eoc.com.
What's so different about Arvest? Let's ask real customers.
I have the free business checking account.
They seem interested in making sure that your business is successful.
I'm in here probably 3 to 4 days a week.
They've helped me with lines of credit when I needed extra money for capital.
We didn't have to even come to the bank. He came to the warehouse.
I've got tons of locations in the small towns where we end up building stuff at.
I didn't think it was, it could ever be done, but when I come down here, it was done.
Arvest Bank, our customers say it best.
Welcome back. It's the Union Football Coaches Show. Rick Corey along with the head coach of the Redskins, Kirk Frederick. Let's get right to the highlights. Here's quarterfinal action. 6A one of those divisional playoffs, and here is Union and Putnam City. And Coach, this is a really exciting time of the year, isn't it?
It really is. You see our guys coming out of the TP excited about playing a football game at home, as we talked about, and started off real early. It's good to have Peters back, Nate Peters back at guard. You see him rapping and pulling there early on, and they covered up well. And you know, when things like this happen, you don't ever want turnovers to take place, but it's usually because somebody's trying to make a play. Kids don't make plays like that on purpose. They're trying to make something happen, and they do a good job of stripping the ball away from Birch and got to wake us up. So get a nice kickoff return with IO. There you see Peters wrapping around the edge there. We kind of get it caved down. Great block there by DC. Deontay on the outside, and Tyler Atkins does the rest, and it's a lot of fun. You know, which one of these runs do you pick out of him out of this senior year that's your favorite? You know, that list can get really long.
He's been so spectacular. And watch the great block by C.J. Moore at the end of this thing as well, staying on that block.
Outstanding job, and we get Tyler in here and try to answer real quick. Come back, Shamari, another really good threat we have at tailback. Shamari Brooks does a nice job of kind of stretching it out. Want to try to go deep, and they do a great job. This outstanding football player, receiver for them, and defensive back, and he doesn't bite on the play, and so we've got to come back and try to execute some offense, and unfortunately, got to give the ball right back to them. Love the way our defense is playing. They do a nice job. Trey came up from his corner position. Really, the way the defensive front set in early, they were able to kind of take away some things and make them bounce to the outside.
And you can see Trey Brown kind of on fire right there.
Trey Brown, awesome job coming up from his flat position there at corner, makes a nice hit. They come back, try to go over the top to us, and our guys, again, do a really good job. We get the ball at midfield. AK, definitely one of those guys that can just make you miss and does a nice job. We get the ball to the outside. Brandon does a good job getting it to him. Love the focus out of CJ there. Ball was tipped at the line. This is for a first down on a third down play, and he's able to focus in and take the ball away from the guy to keep the drive moving. In a 4th and short here, we come in early and getting our big heavy set. Got Lee Barnes in there and Asa Carter and some of those guys in there blocking. Look at the way they come through there, kind of blow some guys out. Huge block there by David Warner on the outside, and we got the first down and a touchdown.
Yeah, and you see right there, when you break contain on those short yardage plays, you got room.
Got Doc Blevins down there in the end zone too. Giving it a thumbs up. That's right. Back to work defensively, and man, Jordan Kelly. I mean, a handful defensive line to try to block, and I think he gets a handful there as well. We get the face mask, but Jordan is going to be a really special defensive lineman one of these days. Gives them a first down. Shamari comes in. You can see him trying to strip the ball away. Defense working hard. Jordan Starks finishing up the tackle there. They get us on the wheel route around the outside, and fortunate for us, it's underthrown just a little bit. We come right back. Look at the pressure by Shamari. Comes in. Lots of guys. Lee Barnes on the double team. Comes off and still able to go in there and just about able to come up with that turnover.
That guard had no idea. He had nothing to do. He just let him run by.
Outstanding play by Io. You know, tackle in open space. He does a really good job. You see Lee in there chasing the ball. It's good to have a defensive lineman really running sideline to sideline.
Guys in these sizes, yeah, making those plays out there.
Good block on the outside. A nice job. Give the ball to Trey, and you can see Deontay blocks 2 or 3 guys, and you can see AK down there, and of course Trey. It's just like a kick return for him, and does a really good job, real explosive at that tailback position. Need to get that hand warmer off there. The hand warmer, I think, held Tyler up and got another outstanding block to the outside. You see Lopez blocking second level, does a really good job with it.
One of the things about Tyler I enjoy is he never seems to get tired. He's making cuts now that I don't think he made early in the season.
He really gets better as the game goes on, and as the season's gone on, he's worked really hard to keep his body healthy and does a nice job in the weight room. Got Jordan Starks, again, does a nice job at safety, and there's Io coming up, making a nice play. You see Jordan Kelly on pressure and Lee, and Darius Thornton. Man, he has had a great junior year at linebacker. Darius has played really well, sniffs out the screen. Come back with a little play action off the first down. Nice call there by Coach Roepke, and great pass by Brandon Birch, and he hits AK for the touchdown.
Yeah, the key here, watch the air he puts under it so it gives his receiver an opportunity to get there.
Great protection, balls in the air for a long time. We see that when you get to play at home, we see that play all the time on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and it's always fun to see it happen on game night. Outstanding play to the outside. Mitchell Lewis is another outside backer. Is playing really well. You see him there on pressure, doing a good job. That pressure causes the pass to be off the mark, and one of those 3 and outs that our guys talked about.
AK is just magic. I don't know how guys can be that close to him. You couldn't tackle this kind of
No,
phone
he
booth.
just does a great job and nice play. And unfortunately, we get caught with a little extra hold there, I guess, on the side, and that play comes back. Give the ball to Shamari, and I mean, again, here's another real explosive guy. Shamari is a very talented kid, is playing really well in all 3 phases of the game, and love to see the way he ran the football. Throw the ball up, do a nice job, get to catch a nice touchdown pass to CJ out there, the ROTC group down in the end zone. They had a really nice military recognition before the game. So a lot of students involved here at Union, a lot of different organizations.
Barnes had a terrific game, didn't he?
Oh, Lee is playing really. It's when you want your guys to play good football is in the playoffs, and the guys really worked hard. And Coach Brown, Coach Dupree, the defensive line coaches have worked really hard with those guys. This is probably one of my favorite plays by Trey this year out of the entire season, just because the way he played the ball, did an outstanding job. You'll see we talked all week, hey, when you're down the field, become the receiver. And you've got the guy in your hip pocket, become the receiver. He turns and does a nice job, and it's always fun to see him rewarded with a nice interception.
And rips away from the one player to get yardage.
Offense back to work.
There are no words to describe
There's nothing right there. Just an outstanding job with Tyler as he, steps over, jumps over, balance, all those kinds of things. Here's Shamari getting some tough yards underneath. Love seeing it. How about the really good block there by Josh Cutshaw, wrapping around the corner. Does an outstanding job. Look at the protection, the pocket. Love the little double move here to AK for another touchdown.
And now you're starting to see the gas really get poured on there. You 41-7 here at the half. You really kind of put the hammer down. So you had the fumble, but you come back and you play really well to go up 41-7. But you have to have a message in the second half of we can't let up because we want to stay sharp.
No, you want to stay sharp. We start talking about contingency plans on a couple of different guys playing. Someone asked me, hey, how about the slow start? And you could call it a slow start, but it was just a miscue on one play because the defense was playing well. Obviously, the offense was doing extremely well. We just had a miscue on one play, so I'm not real sure we started slow. You can see that we finished that half really strong.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that slow at all. As a matter of fact, when you see the second half, the pedal didn't come up an awful lot. We'll get to the second half highlights, Union and Putnam City in a second here on the Union Football Coaches Show.
So I work in production, and I help cover a lot of college football games. There's a ton of running and lots of travel all over the place. You might think I'd go with a mega bank for the convenience, but actually I just switched to TTCU. I could have signed up online, but I decided just to walk in, and I'm so glad I did. Just for opening a checking account, they gave me $50 and $50 to a local school. And now when I travel, it's like a little piece of home is always with me. It really is unbeatable.
We're back on the Union Football Coaches Show. Kirk Frederick, the head coach of the Redskins. I'm Rick Corey. Let's get right into the second half highlights of Union and Putnam City. 41-7 up at the half. And, Coach, your message, just keep playing hard?
Keep playing hard. Look at some substitutions that we can make and just continue to play hard. Raymond Farrell, sophomore, outstanding hit on the kickoff team. Raymond's just getting better and better. Plays outside backer for us, and love the way we started that off with that kickoff. Tyler DeSmit, senior nose guard, just right out of his grasp. When you see Corey Piercy come in and clean that up, defensive line playing well. Again, defensively, guys coming up and doing a nice job. Come back offensively and kind of have a hybrid group here. We got some really good football players that are playing with a few of the starters and kind of switch some of them out, but Courtney Holmes with a nice play. Looks kind of like Tyler, like you said in the break, going through the line and does a nice job of keeping us balanced and moving the football. Adonis Martin at quarterback. Adonis played real well at the end of last week and is in this second half and had a really good football half. See our guys in there blocking well for Courtney. Courtney comes in and running the ball really tough. Nice play there on the counter. David Warner does an excellent job wrapping that backer and gives us a hole to get right down to the goal line. And you can see right there Lopez with a huge block inside and does just a great job of kind of pushing it in there.
So now the point is how many guys you can kind of get in and out as you start this mix.
Yeah, we started to, sub some guys and try to get to a point where we could give some guys, number one, some valuable experience that we know they still may need, but also wanted to give guys that were kind of that partway starter, let them operate with a solid unit of guys. Isaac Guyona out there at offensive tackle with great protection as we throw the football to Cameron McQueen. He gets a nice play down here inside the 10. Love the throw, love it. We're just right off the mark there. Gets a chance to kick a field goal from the left hash, and Jace Holt is able to come in and put one through and makes us at least keep our record of red zone there. We're able to get points in the red zone. Love the play to the outside there. Nice job by our senior safety. Elijah Harris comes in and makes a great stop there. There's Devin Crittenden as well. You see Isaac Ledbetter at linebacker chasing the football. Good pressure there by Raper, and unfortunately they kind of double moved us there, and they kind of out. That kid's a heck of a football player. Does a really nice job, and you'll see him move the football just a little bit with the way that receiver plays.
But you're making them earn it, though.
I asked Coach Pearson about this quarterback. He's, I said, man, is that guy a junior? And he said, no, he's a senior. It's a really talented quarterback that I know he wished he probably had back for next year. But hats off to PC as they were able to put a drive together.
And you're just as happy he's not back.
That's exactly right. Come back in here. We got Kevion Cooper, sophomore at tailback, getting a few carries as our offense is trying to move the football. Does a nice job of reading the gun run there with Adonis. Gets the ball out with the quick smoker out there to Landon Wood. Landon is a sophomore receiver for us. Get a nice block there. Lawrence Harris at tight end. See him there as he wraps up in the hole. Does a really good job, and a lot of guys getting out there and getting some good playing time. Come out with the sprint out pass, try to extend the drive, and man, I love Jared Nichols. He just catches all those footballs and does a nice job. Had a nice game last week and enables us to kind of continue the drive.
I think Adonis throws it really well, too.
Adonis does a great job really just executing our entire offense. We don't have to limit our playbook when he's in there. Just does a really good job with that. Nice play there by Devin on coverage. You can see got the defensive line in there with great protection, or excuse me, pressure, and you got Isaac Ledbetter who's right there to stop the pass. Raper with pressure again. Just get right behind us there. But again, valuable experience for some of these sophomore safeties as they learn to play the game, and they really do a nice job.
Not letting them run it much.
Walker Rosenbaum with a great job there. Defensive end stops it, tries to strip the ball away. Got a really nice play there by Harris. Comes up, makes another play from safety. Just doing a really good job. Isaac Ledbetter, senior, had an injury in the spring and just really took him all summer and half our season to rehab, and to see him come back and make some plays on Friday night really just speaks to a lot of his character. There's Raymond Farrell again on a nice play. Does a nice job from the outside backer position. Raphael Williams with the nice play there. Isaac and Harris there again. Try to run a wheel route out the backfield, and man, our guys pick it right up and run with it, so he doesn't really have anything to do with it. It's always fun to see maybe some guys that aren't your starters, but understand football and are able to pick up some of those trick plays.
You got to give him some credit there. They just ran a couple of nice plays, and he really threw the ball well.
Did a nice job. Come back with Courtney, doing a good job there. Spencer Howard blocking out there at receiver. It's a good, really good front there. Juan Ramirez, talked about this last week, backup center. Again, you're seeing some great just execution of our snaps and handoffs. All our guys doing a really good job. Got to a third down play, and they had us in press coverage. And what can we do to get the drive going? And hey, if you're in press coverage, we're gonna take advantage of it. And that's a beautiful ball thrown there to Jared Nichols from Adonis.
Grinding it out here.
Grind it out, and I love the play there. You get to RJ Heron with a nice touchdown. So you get a big kick-out block by Tripp Newfield, and Lawrence Harris wraps up in the hole. So a little counter action there, and it's split right open there for RJ to go in and get a touchdown. Palmer Watkins kind of gets the pressure there from the outside and pushes the quarterback out of bounds, and does a nice job. You see Palmer again with some pressure underneath. See Chase Silman coming up from the safety position, makes a nice stop. Again, we're just trying to do what we can to try to keep the drive from going there. You get Dalton Teague, another outside backer. Dalton, again, one of those great senior football players that just love the attitude he brings every day. Fighting for the football. Unfortunately, I guess Ty goes to the runner. Is that how that works there? Ty goes to the offense, and they come up and just get a nice little quarterback run underneath, and you can kind of see our guys battling, not wanting anybody in, and man, they just make a great play. They're tied in there in the end zone.
But again, they really had to work for it. They did throw the ball nicely. Now, of course, the shaking of hands, and it's on to round 2, which nowadays is the semifinals, and we'll talk about the Jenks game coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So Union wins it, and we're moving on. We'll see exactly what the Jenks Trojans hold in store next with the Union Football Coaches Show.
Frontier Valley Conference. 10 schools. Broken Arrow, Bartlesville, Bixby, Bishop Kelly, Jenks, Muskogee, Owasso, Sand Springs, Sapulpa, Union. .22 sports, 509 state titles. Numbers don't lie. Frontier Valley Conference. Strength in numbers.
We're back on the Union Football Coaches Show. Rick Corey along with the head coach of the Redskins, Kirk Frederick. Let's get right to up close and personal and see some of the great still images from this game.
Yeah, Dean does a nice job with this, and we get some great picks. It's always fun. You have a jersey change, you get a chance to see some extra picks. Love this, Veterans Day this last week. These are family members of some of our players that we wanted to recognize, the players and their family, and even coaches, Coach Neal and Coach Foster and their family. A lot of people there. We had Matt Herman, who was on our 2011 team as a Marine, was there. Always appreciate their service. Tyler Atkins won that early touchdown there. Love this big hit by Trey. You see Kyrie right there, ready to make the tackle. I believe that's Devin Bajek. Devin's done that to a couple of quarterbacks this year, so I would assume that's probably him again. Devin does a nice job from his defensive end position. Got a nice play here by Darius. There's the interception by Trey as he makes that catch off that receiver there, and you can see Darius going back to make a nice block. There's Darius again, and we got Corey Piercy. Corey coming off of an injury early in the two-a-days and had surgery actually, and so just does a nice job working with Dan Newman and the group at EOC as they rehab our kids and get them ready, not just for this season but next season, and proud of what our trainers and managers and all of them do for us. Favorite play here is Adonis taking the victory play there. Damian Bird, a receiver, and Spencer Howard. Nice job. Love that formation. Then, of course, here's Coach Pearson. You know, friendships, guys are with you for 8 years. Your kids grow up together. I coached some of his kids. The Battle of the Ball Boys, his young son and my son, we talked about on Friday night. So lots of good memories with that.
Here are your seniors.
Lots of great memories there as well with those seniors, and to get that final picture there at Union. And we're so excited. It's not a final game, and we get to move forward.
Glad to see you had like trainers, managers in there too. Those people work a lot of hours.
Unbelievable what they do. Again, you know, we've got about 20 girls and guys that work tirelessly, you know, there before practice, after practice, weekends, and the amount of time that they put in with them. And, of course, Dan and his staff do an excellent job keeping our kids moving.
All right, it's time now. It's Union Jenks again, and it's the game everybody wants to see, and it's the game everybody talks about, and I'm sure it's the game, too, that as coaches sometimes you get tired of because it's the next game. It just happens to be a heck of a rivalry game. It's going to be at Owasso on Friday night at 7. How have they changed since early in the season?
Well, it's always fun. You know, there's two sides to this. You love playing early on with great opponent in Jenks because you know where you stand. You know after game 2, man, we've got a lot of work to do. And then you also love playing them again. You're like, man, how are we? And I remember leaving thinking, how in the world are we ever going to beat those guys? You know, because they are such a great football team and great program. Their coaches do a nice job. They played extremely well. They've won 3 in a row. We know them well. And but you start to see the way that our kids have matured and some of the ways that we have grown. You look at this game, just watching the coaches show, and well, we went back, looked at video, and we see kids making mistakes that are long past. And so we're extremely proud of where we are. We know that they're a solid football team. You know, you don't have to say much past their quarterback, who's won just about every game he's ever played in, and you know, the Dylan Stoner kid. But there's a supporting cast of linemen and defense there that's extremely tough.
What is it that he does so well? And we're talking about Cooper Nunley because he has, and we've seen guys there in the past who were great athletes who won games. He's an athlete too, but there's something about him. What does he do so well?
Well, I think he's a gamer. I mean, but the other side of it is, you know, when he needs to make a play, he's going to. But the other side, as I said, is accuracy. There's not very many footballs that aren't put in the right position. You know, some of the amazing catches that you've seen some of their receivers make are just incredible. Sometimes in coverage, and those guys make that play. But the ball had to be there. He had to be put in that right spot. So to me, the thing that stands out with him is, you know, number one is he finds a way to win, and number 2 is just his accuracy.
But it's not for a championship. Is that weird?
It is. It is a little bit weird. Yes.
Yeah. But look, no matter what, this is a big and important game, and we need you out there. It'll be at Owasso on Friday night at 7. It's red out, so we'll all be in our red. Make sure that you wear your red and come on out there to see what should be a terrific semifinals game. And then hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you again from the state championships. That'll do it this week on the Union Football Coaches Show.